So, here we have Solomon Island, which is the location we were just showing in the video. And this place has been invaded by the Draug, which is, you can see them off in the background here. And the players have been dealing with this situation for quite a few hours now as they play. And they've been sort of wondering, you know, what are the Draug? How did they come to be here? What brought them to this location? And as Martin talked about, dungeons mean more to us than just a place for monsters to live. So this is actually an explanation of the inciting incident of how the Draug came to be in this area. So this is a large part of the puzzle. There's a group here called the Orochi Corporation. The Orochi Corporation have been in the area. There's, you know, the men in black vans who turn up when something's going on that's a bit off the record. And they've been taking a very hands-off approach. They've just been observing events, but they're using the players to do things for their own ends. So we're going to give you an example of a mission taken from one of these guys right now.
All right, guys, just keep in mind that this game is still in development, and these guys clearly need some dental work, but we'll get to that. But right now, the player has received a mission. The first objective of the mission is to pick up the Orochi tactical map, which is located here on the hood of this car. This is the map over the island that they talked about in this cutscene. The Orochi Corporation has located these points of interest and marked them on the player's map, and this will provide to be very useful information later in the dungeon. But right now, we're going to venture forth, and since this is a modern game, set in modern times, we travel in style with kick-ass helicopters.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and load right into the instance now, and this is where we'll spend the majority of our time in this demo. Now, as you guys may know, this is we're Funcom, we're the company that made Age of Conan. We have a reputation for creating fantastic graphics in the MMO space. And with the Secret World, we're taking it even a step further. We have these amazing environments in our engine, huge visual fidelity. You can see the modern day setting is firmly rooted by things like the helicopters, the lights. We have the lighthouse up the top with the light beam going down. We have these amazing effects that we can create in our engine. And it really roots the game in the modern day world. Okay, so in addition to the fact that we're rooting the game through the visuals in the modern day world, we're also doing this through the way that we communicate with the players. So obviously in the real world, players get communication via radio, cell phone, things like that. It's the same here. As players progress through the dungeon, they'll receive information and updates from their pilot, their helicopter pilot, as they go.
So with us here today, we have a group of 5 players that focuses on this different aspect on the combat in the Secret World. We have the masked guy with the sledgehammer. He will play the role as a tank this dungeon run. He's brought a lot of armor mitigation and aggro management abilities. The girl in the pink trench coat will function as the healer in this run. She brought a lot of blood magic and will try to keep this group alive. The guy with the assault rifle has brought some high-powered bullet shots. Also brought some AoE grenades and will function as a sort of ranged DPS character with some crowd controlling. The guy on the right is focusing on magic and the elementalist magic, which lets him control fire and shoot fire. The hero character is wielding a sledgehammer, but is focusing more on the high damage output that the hammer provides. So now this group is gonna venture forth and investigate this place.
Alright, so one of the challenges of dungeon design is, how much do we want to annoy players with trash? So we decided that when we were going to make dungeons for the Secret World, we'd make sure that any trash combat they encountered was only there for a reason. So as you can see here, we have a Draug and several zombies. It's a great screenshot. It's fantastic. So we have a Draug and several zombies, and the player is going to go into combat with these guys. And obviously this teaches the players that when they encounter Draug, they encounter zombies. The zombies work for the Draug. In case you don't know what the Draug are, actually this is all tied into the lore with the myths and legends. In the real world, Draug are actually the spirits of drowned Vikings that come back to haunt people. So, and this also ties into our game. All right.
Body of water contains potentially lethal electrical current.
And about teaching players different mechanics. Whenever we do that, it's not only true for this isolated incident, but it's true for the whole game. And whenever players in the Secret World find electricity on water, it means that it's a bad thing, because when they stand in this water, they take a massive amount of damage. They have to stay away from that as they're going to fight this Draug sorceress.
Alright, so another word on Draug females. These guys are the mothers of the Draug race. Their sole purpose in living is actually to reproduce, and what they do is they take zombies, they mutate them, and eventually the zombies turn into Draug themselves.
You can see this sorceress is protecting herself with this Draug barrier. The players can bring certain effects to counter this magic and remove that barrier. She also summons this thundercloud that the players need to get away from, which provides a particular challenge because of the electrified water. They need to stay away from that and the thundercloud at the same time.
Alright, so the player just earned a skill point. Skill points are used to purchase abilities. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. First, I'm just going to talk a little bit about, again, the level design as we go into this sort of project. We look at all the space in the world and we think, like, you know, it's no point in building a 2D corridor. We have the verticality as well, so we build the game into sort of, you know, using the vertical landscape as well as the horizontal landscape. So we create these great vista points as well, which we'll get to shortly.
Again, teaching player different mechanics. If the players linger close to this Draug pod for too long, it will start to pulse and eventually erupt for massive amount of damage and a knockback. But if the players are quick to damage them down before they're able to explode, they're safe and sound.
Alright, so we're climbing again, we're close to the top now. And as we arrive at the top here, you'll see the full scope we can go for in our engine, creating these amazing visuals. Alright, so this is the wrecked tanker that they talked about that's crashed into this island. You can see the wreckage strewn all over the place, and we use that to create our modern day setting.
Identification. Cargo vessel Polaris. Reported lost in Atlantic Ocean August 14, 2007.
Right, so again, tying in myths and legends. Everybody's heard of ghost ships. Everybody's heard of ships that go missing at sea and get found with their crews missing. The Polaris was one such ship. It went missing 4 years ago. It's reappeared recently on the radar. It's turned up in Solomon Island, crashing into the coast here. And the Draug have come off it and started to sort of turn the area into a location where they can launch their attack on Solomon Island.